If a man doesn't hate his father, his mother, his wife, his children, his brethren, his sisters, even his own life, he can't be my disciple. Now, when you go to church and you ask the preacher about that verse, the preacher tries to change it, tries to change it around. Well, it don't really mean what it says, blah, 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 blah. Well, when you leave the 501c cult, when you leave the 501c cult, you start to wake up that he did mean what he said. Now, does that mean you hate people? No. What it means is you're born in sin, and everybody else around you is born in sin. And it means the flesh mind is nothing but pure evil. And if you love a person more than you love God, you can't be his disciple. So you can't have 1 foot down here and 1 foot above. When God starts to pull you out of Babylon, you have to realize the whole system's Babylon, the whole thing. If you read the Old Testament, he told Israel to go in and go to these other nations in the Old Testament. He told them, he says, I want you to kill everything, everybody, everything. Men, women, beasts, everything. Destroy all the idols, everything. Now, why would God do that? And the New Agers will say, God's evil because he killed everything. When Israel was overtaking a nation who was fighting against them, the Gentile nations, he said, destroy everything, kill everything. Why would God do that? Because it's like an infection. If there's one little blade of grass left, talking about idolatry, if there's one little blade of idolatry still standing, it's going to grow. It's going to infect everything. And I'm talking about the heart of man. And so why would he kill the beast? Well, if the people had an affection towards the livestock, and then they would have an effect. Well, these people really did have some kind of love for their animals, or some, who knows how the human heart would have found some way to have compassion on idolatry, the idols. God is a God of love. But when they reject the truth, when a human rejects the truth over and over and over, you see the Holy Spirit withdraws and doesn't try to convict them of sin anymore. This is the church age, so God went to the Gentiles. But before God went to the Gentiles, this is a dispensation of grace. But when this dispensation comes to an end, every time I eat at that restaurant, I feel like something's stuck in my throat. I'm not going there anymore, the one I just left. I almost didn't go there. What I saw there today just was a confirmation that I'll never go back to that restaurant, ever. There's always a precog. Don't go here. Don't do this. Stop. But there's always also a precog. Go here, do this, whatever. God will lead you and guide you. He will stop you and he will guide you. And it's time to start listening, Every one of us should start listening. Listen to that small, still voice. See, God don't play games with idolatry because it's all about his son. Jesus died for you. He shed his blood. He He shed his blood before the foundation of the world. The lamb slain before the foundation of the world. This is his story. This is God's story. And Jesus gets the honor and the glory and the praise and everything that we do. You didn't do anything. If you invented something or you discovered something, you didn't do it. God revealed it to you. And so man might come up with an electric car, and man thinks he did it. He didn't do it. Tesla, he came out with he says, I invented electricity. No, you didn't. God just revealed it to you. God is impelling and pushing people to move on towards the next state, the next dispensation, the next age. God is allowing man to create, but it was already done. Man is discovering, and it's fun to discover. To travel somewhere and discover something new. It's built into man, right? And so it's true with inventions. But man thinks he discovered it when it's really, the reality is he didn't discover nothing. God just allowed him to find it. You know, God pushed him. And he kept looking for answers, you know. Like the air conditioning. Used to be all your inventors would acknowledge the Bible. You know, whoever invented the air conditioner or the refrigerator would say, well, I just looked at the universe and I just copied the universe. Pressure and volume and temperature and cold and hot, seasons, cycles. It's all a cycle. Everything's a sine wave. If you want to invent something, study the cycles. Everything's a birthing cycle after Eve. Eve, the mother of all living, she has the cycle in her body. Everything is a cycle. Even that lady walking right there is a cycle. Even that car rolling is a cycle. Anyway, when God starts to cut out things out of your life, He's not playing games. And whether it's the nation of Israel, whether it's the church, or whatever it is, he's not going to allow. Look, in Him we live and breathe and have our being. He sustains everybody. So if you worship something, so if a man worships, let's say a man worships a woman, you know, you expect her to be perfect, and you expect her to clean your house and cook and never talk back and never be in bad mood and never be in the flesh and never make a mistake. If a man worships a woman like that, he's going to be royally busted. And a woman wants the man to love her unconditionally when she's a sinner too. So what you have to do is shift your love from that ooey gooey love to agape love, God's love. And it takes a long time, especially in this society, because everything in front of you, the music, it's all try to stir up your emotions. It's the machine. When you cut the music off, you'll get free. Might take a year. Cut the music off for a year. Most people can't do it for a day, but cut it off for a year and see what happens. People will actually call you crazy for not listening to the Gentile music. The lies of the system. When you cut off the lies from entering your eye gate, your ear gate, your heart gate, or whatever gate that's trying to get in, you cut off the lies. I promise you, the whole world will think you're crazy. Your neighbors, your coworkers, your family, your mama, your daddy, your sister, even your wife will think you're crazy unless she's, look at this lady. I got it on video. She didn't care. She did not even care. And she didn't even say sorry or anything. sitting right here. Just looked at me like I was crazy. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with flesh creatures that are so prideful about their flesh, which is nothing but stinking, rotten, dead flesh. Dead fingernails, dead hair, dead skin. They're dead in trespass and sin, but they have pride. They have pride like they're big and bad when they ain't got nothing but stupidity. You talk about ridiculous. They don't even know how to drive. They can't even think right. But they got pride like they're big and bad. Well, I know how to twerk. Yeah, what's that? Who cares? Stupid. I mean, all of them. They're all the same. You can look at one of them and see how the other ones think and act. I'm telling you, the hive mind is ignorance. The hive mind is slavery. The hive mind is flesh mind, the old Adam. The hive mind is pride and arrogance and stupidity and idolatry. So the reason God said take them all out, because if you leave one root, whether it's a root of bitterness, whether it's a root of anything, you leave one root of sin and you don't chop it down, idolatry will grow back. The idolatry is going to grow back. I'm not even going to park around them. I can't even stand to be around them. Sick people. No manners. I mean, look at the way they dress now. I'm telling you, your society is totally corrupt right now. I promise you. Your society is totally corrupt. And it's getting to the point now. And you saw it in the first earth, the Old Testament, when God destroyed the earth. And you see it in nations in the Old Testament where God destroys a nation. This nation's under judgment. One root of bitterness, one root of idolatry is going to grow. And that thing's going to grow and grow and grow. And I've got to watch myself for not being bitter, how ridiculous these people are. I had a preacher tell me one time, he says, probably best to not have kids. Probably best not to get married because things are so bad. And that's 30 years later. I did get married, though, and I got married twice. But now, I wouldn't marry any of these women. They don't even know how to be women. It's best to stay single right now, unless you can find one that's normal in this insanity.